Welcome to the Evergreen Creative Company podcast. We like to call it the Evergreen Creative Podcast. It's a little bit shorter to say, but our main goal for this podcast is to share our experiences as a company through the projects that we work on a weekly basis. Whether you're a client or another creator, you're going to get to hear our experiences from each project that we work on. So if you find value from this podcast, please leave a review and also share this with your friends and colleagues. One of these days, I'm just going to literally puke, and I'm not cleaning it up.
Hey, maybe then we'll get more than 5 views.
It's so bad. Houston, what irritates Hannah so I can...
People picking at their fingernails.
Biting or picking? You don't want to know how I clean my nails?
No, please don't, because I
Sometimes I'll just take the hem and just...
Oh, well, that doesn't bother me.
doesn't?
It's like people sitting there going...
No.
Because I just think about... I just think about, like,
sound?
your... Yeah.
Okay. I need to flip that screen around.
But it's, like, actually, like, I don't know if it has to do with OCD. I don't know what it but, like, it's, like... very overstimulating for me. And I have literally always been like that. Always. I just ate the mic. My mouth was fully on it. My lipstick is all over this.
So is the people at that tennis tournament too?
What?
People used it at the tennis tournament.
Did they really?
Yes.
Did you clean it?
Yes. There's only so much you can do to the foam. But
he did his best.
It's been...
Thousands of people have run through these mics.
That's gross.
Yeah.
I mean, how many recordings have we had? Like, other people have used them.
Belching contest. 1, 2.
I can't make myself.
I almost threw up.
I was about to say, let's not throw up on the camera.
I can't make myself burp. It just naturally happens
all
the time.
This episode is not sponsored by Red Bull or Monster.
If they want to reach out.
Because we have so many views.
Yeah.
Because Megan.
They really want Megan to buy it.
Megan, like, if you're actually listening, we need you to leave a comment wherever you're listening to. If it's on podcast, leave a review or something, or just tell us on social media. Leave a review. Actually, speaking of spoken word artists, like I met with the art museum this morning, went over some ideas that they want to work on, and one of the videos is just like an updated video for their stuff. And I thought, like, I don't know if this happens to you, but like when you're hearing ideas or like if you're vision casting and things like that, you kind of get like this, I don't know how to put it, like this vibe, and you get these ideas and you're like, this really feels like the way to go, or like this idea really just hits right kind of stuff. And so I was like, you know what would be really cool is if we could find the right kind of messaging, but put it like in a spoken word poetic form, like for the art museum.
I dig it.
Like, so I feel like that could really, it has potential. I'm not saying like that's what we're going to do, but I felt like that could have some potential with like a spoken word poetic voiceover of some sort for an art museum. Like, so like part of the project that we're thinking about is, it's like the art museum has been a pillar in the community for a long time. It's a pillar in the downtown area. It's not like they're just starting out. They've been there for a long time. So, and they're looking towards the future as well. And there's a lot of downtown redevelopment stuff, lots of talks and all that kind of stuff going on. And so it's like, how does the art museum fit in that, but also how do they, still stay on the direction and the path that they're on for their own purposes and stuff. So
future proof, but also stay true to themselves.
Right. Exactly. So, we still got some more talks and stuff like that to go with that project. But I thought, speaking of Megan, speaking of spoken word, I could honestly hear her voice doing the spoken word.
Just gotta sell them on that idea.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
guessing.
like I can't think of a better person to do a spoken word than Megan. So
I know. She's so good.
So we're brown nosing Megan right now. She needs to come back to Dothan.
I mean,
I know.
she's our only listener, so we might as well.
She will, hopefully.
We'll see.
But I don't know about her sister.
But next time you're in the area, Megan, like stop by and do something.
Record
Yeah,
a podcast
yeah.
with us.
Yeah.
I'm
Since
trying to
you're the only
think-
one that watches.
I'm trying to think because her sister is going to be here in August in like 2 weeks, but I don't know if Megan is coming.
I'm not sure. Like,
She better.
so she's in her first year at the ministry school.
Well, she
Is
already
it-
finished it. This will be
she
her
finished
second
it?
year.
Okay.
She's about to start her second year. But her brother is also moving up there.
That's right.
And so Brooke is going to help move him up there. But
Mhm.
I don't know, like,
Hmm.
Brooke is coming back to Dothan because I
Either
talked to
way,
her on the phone
Megan,
yesterday.
You need to stop by.
Yeah.
You're always welcome here
Swing through.
Well, she was here like
for
week
revive
ago.
and stuff.
a
Yeah.
week ago.
But
Should have done it then, but
we need to figure out another just project to fit her in with that kind of style stuff. That'd be
well,
fun.
here's the thing. I had a video project that I was going to do at the ramp that I had her write a spoken word for, and it never happened because of COVID. So I'm sitting on an already spoken word.
That's, yeah. I mean, it's like we're talking about another project that we got coming up is a hype video for the Dothan High School football team. And it's like spoken word or hype video voiceovers and stuff, like they hit really nice. Like they motivate, they get you excited, all that kind of stuff. So I like that style of stuff, and then I feel like I can get excited, like I feel in my bones kind of stuff, like on the creative side of things, that this is like what I want to work on. Like these are the type of projects that I want to do. Like we work with a lot of companies, a lot of cool stuff, get a lot of opportunities for all kinds of things, but like one of my dreams is like to do some like hype video type stuff for, like I'm a Gator fan, so obviously that'd be an amazing dream, or like the Boston Celtics, or being on the sideline, getting those banger shots, and whether it's photos and or videos, like I would love to do both. But and then doing some of like the behind the scenes kind of stuff, like the workouts, the the grinding that happens, all the effort that happens to make championships or win games, all that kind of stuff. But really excited about working on the Dothan High School football stuff and see what we can create with that. Like we worked on a recruiting video for the school system in general, and used some of the football stuff, and
The
got a
coaches
voiceover.
like kind of
The
pep
coach's
talk in the middle
voiceover.
of the thing. It really kind of worked for
It'll
it.
send chills down and kind of stuff. So getting that kind of stuff, like really motivational type
Working
things.
on that video, we were like, we need to make a football video.
Yeah, like we
So we had to try to not overdo it with the football stuff in that video.
The spring game provided plenty of content, but I'd like tomorrow, at the time of this recording and stuff, they're going to have one of their first practices with pads on kind of stuff. And so getting some of that new branding in there, the new players, that'll be fun shots to get and stuff too. The first game will be fun to get because Rip Hughes Stadium got a whole makeover. It says new turf, new jumbo screen, like all kinds of stuff like that. So the drone stuff, the turning on the lights, all those iconic kind of shots.
Megan said she would love to come in.
She's supposed to answer us on the podcast,
Well,
not your text.
I have to tell her.
It was a test to see if
She was
don't
watching
tip her
it.
off. Come on.
I was just like,
She
hey.
claims that she watches our stuff or
Well,
listens.
I have to know that she's going to watch it, so I went ahead and let her know that she was a topic of conversation.
I mean, we can remotely get her on the podcast too.
Yeah.
It's as easy as a phone call if we want to go
Zoom
down
her
that
in
road.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, if she's not busy. We
What's
can make it
our
happen.
hit us with the view count? What are we at?
18.9.
18.9.
I'm waiting.
So
for it.
in reference to that view count, what is that all about?
Again, we talk about it all the time that we just don't understand the algorithm. Our good
I
pal,
don't-
our good
here's the
pal
thing.
Al, we don't
I get-
understand him.
Good pal.
When I'm
Let's backtrack.
Post-
Last time we didn't introduce ourselves. So
Okay.
I'm
Oh.
Josh.
Houston?
I'm Hannah.
So there we go. Got that out of the way.
Last time I was, or not last time. All the time I said
All
last
the
time because
time.
you said last.
Last time is like every day yesterday.
Yeah. All the time I get these analytics of like, oh, this is the best time to post, and oh, on here this is what. But it never mattered. Like, it's so hit or miss. It never matters. So, I had been bugging them about getting some BTS footage to me so that I could post it, because we've had so many projects recently, but it's just a matter of them getting finished. So Houston was finishing up the sod farms project. And so he sent me just a little video of Josh getting up on a tractor and getting some shots.
So like at the time of shooting that, I was like, so I got that inspiration to get that kind
Be
of shot.
honest, it was
because
kind of crap BTS coverage on my part, but
no.
Apparently
When
not.
we worked on the Premier Entertainment Group
yeah,
video
19,000.
at the warehouse, Daniel was like, we get up on the forklifts at times to get that like kind of overhead aerial type shot. I was like, so I remembered that, and I was like, they had a forklift out there. We needed a top-down shot of
the sod,
like the pallets
pallet,
of sod.
yeah.
So I was like, well, looks like I'm getting up on the thing again.
jumped
But this
up there
one
and I
was
just-
like so much more wobbly than
It-
Premier's.
The video itself wasn't even like super interesting. I mean, it's like
It was just
tractor,
random
Yeah,
clips.
like
I
a
dropped them in a
dog.
timeline.
Literally like, Houston, get the camera. This is gonna make good BTS.
Yeah, like he was up on the forklift tractor thing. There were like some tractors driving, a couple drone shots, a dog, and he sent it to me, and I was like, oh, well,
you
you
needed
know.
the content.
Yeah, because I needed the content, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll schedule it for later, whatever. And then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna test and see what it's like if I post it this morning, because like nothing ever seems to help it. And so I posted it at like 10:30, and right now it's at 19.1 thousand views.
It's been like every 10 minutes it goes up like 1,000 views.
Yeah,
I'm horrible at math, so don't quote me on
it
that.
goes
but,
up 10,000 views.
But it's been nuts. Like it's our 100% our best performing Reels
crazy.
video.
And it's just random. Like I threw something together in a timeline just to
Yeah.
push something out there because we had it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
And so I wrote down, like, it's a Tuesday, 10:30 a.m. Like, these are the hashtags I
look,
put. This is...
That could work. That could hit the algorithm for 2 weeks, and then after 2 weeks, it could be totally different.
It's just I don't understand, because I've studied so many algorithm things. I look up stuff about it all the time, but it's always changing. It's
Right.
like, I feel like week to week it changes. It's not the same. So it's so hard to know, like, what are they going to push? Because we've had posts where I'm like, this is really great. This is really interesting or whatever. And it does terribly.
Right.
And then we post, like, sod farms.
Literally,
and it's
I mean,
like somehow...
We joke around about the viewership of the podcast, and one of the reels that was posted before this video was one of the micro videos, and it had like 4 or 5 views.
Yeah, literally.
So it's like,
it had 2.
And like those were like,
so those 3 came from
It was
potentially someone scrolling
Yeah.
through our stuff.
it was like me, you, Kristen.
Right.
Like we were
Just
the
going
views.
on there to share it. That was. But yeah, it's like the unpredictability of the social media platforms is like something that you always have to try to keep up with. But
And
like with these
we've
reels and
gotten-
TikTok kind of stuff, like even I think we were talking about this earlier, that TikTok has changed their algorithm again to the extent of, like, we were talking about how views just kind of get blasted and sometimes feels like it's just empty views. Like, yeah, it's nice to get all those views,
Yeah.
but like we're not getting followers, we're not growing as far as an account goes.
But
then we
we-
start getting some
Yeah,
follows
we've
this time.
we've
but,
gotten almost 20 followers
but it's like,
today.
yeah, I want to like backtrack, and I want to make a point of maybe this is our pro tip for this episode, is that like you're writing down what worked, you're keeping up with the things that potentially could work for the next time, you're testing, and that's something that like if you're in marketing or any sort of promotional material, whatever, like that's what you have to do. You have to test stuff out. You have to like notice trends.
Trial
you
and
have to
error.
observe. You got to know your audience. Like that's other elements that we talk about, because like just from observation standpoint, most of the time our posts and stuff do better like during dinner time hours and stuff. But that changes at times. Sometimes that's hit and miss.
But that's like for Facebook, it'll do that. But then for Instagram, it's just every platform is so different. So but it really is like trial and error, where like you just have to test and see. Like I'm going with what Facebook or Instagram is recommending for me to do, and it's not doing anything, so I'm going to try to change it and see if it does anything.
So one of the tips that I've seen recently, and this kind of, it's not new news or new like advice, but it's like double down advice, I guess is the way to put it too, is that you've got to like try to put out niche down is one of the parts of it, and try to replicate what works. And then even niche down even more. Like, so it's like, maybe you do different hashtags next time. Maybe you post at a different time and see how it performs. And then if it doesn't perform as well, maybe you go back to the other stuff. But if it performs well again, you start to like kind of rule out variables that might not be actually contributing to the success.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing with it though, is
it never makes sense.
Yeah, it changes all the time, and it's like, I don't care if you have like a master's degree in marketing and you like whatever
you study is outdated already.
It's unpredictable because it changes every week.
Like, but that's like one of the reasons why you, like if you're a business or organization, or even if you're just trying to grow your own personal brand or something, it's like finding those ways that hits your audience right is like super key. One of the struggles just as a business on our end is that we don't niche down to a particular kind of content that we create. So like that kind of makes it a little bit difficult on our social media marketing, because we got just various different kind of projects going on. That's the reason why we split off our wedding stuff aside from our corporate things, because that's two way different audiences. And you know, one particular person is more than welcome to follow both accounts, or just one or the other, depending on what they want to follow. But like for, let's say, we got like those EDC or everyday carry items coming in. So it's like someone that has a company that's that niche down, like that's
exactly like what they do. Go
down that lane, don't vary off, find what works, and like stick to that kind of stuff. And if stuff stops working, it's probably because there is an algorithm change of some sort. Figure out what that algorithm change is.
Which, just because we provide nothing is niche, whatever about what we provide, because we do so many different things. But
we do it all, and we do it well.
We could start niching down our social media.
Right.
Like, just because we do, you know, X, Y, and like the thing he did the other day, whatever that was, like, doesn't mean we have to post about it.
Exactly, yeah.
So that might be also something to consider.
Right. I think on the photography end of stuff, like we're attempting to, or at least getting our plans together to try to go for like the more off-camera flash stuff, the more high profile, you know, things like that. That's not necessarily like, let's say, event coverage. Like we do event coverage. We like doing most of them for the most part. Like concerts can be fun at times, but it's not like a consistent thing that we do. I would say a consistent thing that we do is definitely corporate headshots, different kind of photography shoots. What was fun was
style shoots. We've been doing more and more of those lately.
Like even with Waterworld, like that was all styled stuff. We work with Southern Bone and Joint for their headshot stuff, and what I love about that account is that it's not just your standard headshots. Like they wanted some lifestyle kind of stuff mixed in. They didn't
Like
want
a
just the
vision.
standard like blank background kind of stuff.
Did the Firestone thing.
Firestone, yeah,
I don't know
that.
if you call that. I mean, it was a styled shoot,
No,
but it's like editorial
lifestyle,
almost
editorial.
thing.
That's another good one. So it's like, I mean, that's honestly like the goal is like I love that style. I love the results that we can get from that kind of style of photography. And even on the wedding side of it, like that's the kind of photography that we tried to go for. As far as like the more styled shots go. So even as like our company grows, like we're still learning too, of the different lanes that we want to try to pick, even though we have multiple lanes that we're going down. But yeah, to your point, it's like the legal documentation type stuff. Yes, we can do it 100%, but it's not necessarily something that we're going to post.
And even like it could maybe be posted on Facebook, because you don't have to have as much of a
That's true.
niche
Sometimes you don't need to
Facebook.
like copy post to each platform. Like
So maybe stuff
TikTok
like that.
style stuff might not do as well on Facebook or something. So just
maybe
know
we
that.
post stuff like that on Facebook, but Instagram, keep it to, you know, not just reels, but like just interesting stuff like that, projects like that. That would be more interesting to people.
Yeah, I agree.
Why are we about to hit 20K on this video?
We'll do our best to leave that in the show notes.
That just doesn't make sense.
It's nuts. That's awesome. So I'm
No, like we
curious.
keep the whole morning. We've been like, why? But we're happy. We're happy that it.
Yeah, and hopefully we can replicate some of the success.
We will.
Pause
But
here
we
for-
also have some like more personal project type things that we as a company want to film and be able to produce as like, oh, we just as a fun thing, but also like we can do this. This is, you know, a cool project that we've done, whatever. But it's hard to find time between all the
right.
corporate projects,
It's
editing.
like as soon
all
as
this
we
stuff.
feel like we were going to have like maybe this week we can work on you know, this kind of content or whatever, it's like we get bogged down with the edits and stuff. So
You know,
I think maybe just we need to, not every project needs to be just I love a quick turnaround time, don't get me wrong with that. It's nice to get it done, not out of the way, but out of the way, so we can move on to the next thing. But like the problem with that is like the next thing is like the next project, but it's hard like on our end. Like we're so good at taking care of everybody else but ourselves. So
And
maybe we just start
talked
to really
about-
like we're blocking out time to just even record the podcast. Like we
Yeah.
need to do that with other stuff too.
And we talked about last week about like the balance of like creating things for yourself and doing obviously the corporate, all those things. And there
That's a
does
really
have
good
to
way
be
to
a
put it.
balance, because like we schedule this in every week and we obviously have time to do it every
Yeah.
week. So why can't we schedule
Mhm.
in something like that?
It's a very solid point.
Because we just
I
don't
didn't
do
think
it.
about that. It's like we talk about personal care for our person, but if we were to put the company in the same respect, that's a good way to put it.
I went back and was just looking through the reels. The most popular reel before this one was when we did that just random us walking out of Mural City for National Coffee Day. That one got a little over 4,000, and that was the most viewed video until this one.
That was the first reel that we posted. I think Instagram does that on purpose. Like they give you a bunch of views, so you get excited to try to post some more. That's just my.
That's
Probably
what, yeah,
right.
that's what TikTok does too. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what all of them do is they'll push a video, but then they won't push more. So
Mhm.
you keep producing, you keep using their platform, and then they give you like a little bit of hope, and then they rip it out from
It's
under
like
you.
the videos that you would think that would go, I guess, more viral or get more attention. Things like that boss video challenge.
Yeah.
Like that was funny. Then that should have got more shares.
It
and
did.
stuff.
I mean, it did.
It did decent.
It
It's
did
like just
pre-
under
On
1,000.
Facebook, it did pretty well. It got a couple thousand
Mhm.
views on there.
Then the legal talk bloopers, like That's so stinking funny.
But
Yeah.
it's not portrait.
No.
And that's the thing is I feel like when you can't turn it or anything
Mhm.
and it's small, it doesn't do as well.
Yeah. Maybe
Because
like
it's not as like reels friendly.
for that kind of stuff, we just do a normal post versus a reel.
I don't get it.
What, like we've brought this example a number of times, and it probably definitely will not be the last. But like going back to your point about testing stuff, you gotta have the material to test with, though. And so, like going back to Metcalf that we work with, that like this last go around, we gave them 30 videos. There's plenty of testing content to work with, like so much to work with something like that. And that's one of our goals as a company, is to be able to provide other clients with as much material to work with as possible. And it's, when it's used right, you have so much potential to grow. And if things aren't working, you have more stuff to work with. You don't have to delete anything per se. You can just move on to the next post. How long have we been recording?
Probably we're at 20,000 views. 20,000.
20,000. Wow.
Why? I've been saying it all day, but why?
If you work at Instagram by chance listening to this podcast,
You work at Instagram as one of our 5 viewers.
so I'm going to go over
That's
to
crazy.
TikTok and see how it's doing.
Oh, it's doing terrible.
See, it doesn't matter. It's not the video, it's the algorithm.
22 views in comparison.
Yeah.
TikTok. Well, so on the subject of TikTok views and stuff, we were talking about this earlier too. Like I've come across a few posts that, social media related type of accounts that come across my feed. We're talking about how TikTok has changed their algorithm with how they're not just going to blast out a bunch of views all at once. Because like if you do notice, like you do get a bunch of views at once, and then it just kind of falls off. So they're gonna slower,
More slowly.
Have fun
Slower.
captioning that.
Slowerly.
Slowerly.
Let's keep saying it so it'll be harder for me.
Slowerly. Autocorrect.
More slowest.
Slowerest. Like
Slower.
largerest.
Slower.
Anyways, that they're going to try to become more of a SEO or search friendly platform. So that was kind of interesting news to hear that they're trying to
That'd be
do that, because that's actually been one of the biggest pitfalls of TikTok, is that you can search and stuff, but it's like it's just not geared for that until I guess now, is that they're trying to make it to where if you're looking at certain subjects or whatever, you can start to see more of what you want. SEO friendly stuff. I'm not sure if it's going to be indexed on Google or not, but that might be something that's coming up pretty soon too. Because it used to be that Facebook content was not indexable by Google, and that's starting to show up on Google searches now. Like niching down is even more important, because if you are starting out on TikTok or kind of not necessarily new to it, but you've been posting regularly, like start to really definitely niche down, because the TikTok search algorithm will start to favor your stuff more. Because if a platform is trying to link up particular subjects with an account or viewers and stuff, making sure that when you type something in, it's going to link you and put you on the path that
now
they
that you
want
say
you
that,
there.
it makes a lot of sense that like if like the viewer, their For You page, like they're a photographer or they are a graphic designer, like it's going to be a lot harder for TikTok to push your content to their feed if it's like, well, we think they might be a photographer, but they're also posting this random food video or this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought about it like that, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yep. I mean, I think the advice on social media or anything related to posting content, whether it's blogs or YouTube videos or whatever it is, it's like you do have to niche down. It's one of the biggest keys of success. Niche down, and people got to like you.
Find what you're good at, keep doing it.
Yep. Yeah. So Megan, thanks for liking and subscribing. If you're not Megan, you know what to do. Hit those buttons. If you
Become a
stumble
Megan.
across,
If you're not Megan, become a Megan.
Come on the podcast.
yeah. Oh, I mean, speaking of that, like we would love to have some people on the podcast. So if you're
It's an open
a
invitation.
business owner, an entrepreneur, creator of any sort, even if you're not like the creative type, but you still have to create content for your organization or brand or whatever it is, like we want to hear from you. So reach out, send a message, email, DMS, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Walk in our door, and we will put a mic on you. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for this episode. We appreciate you watching or listening. If you find value from this podcast, please leave a review. It helps rank us up into the podcast algorithms. Also, if you would like to be a guest on the show and share some of your project experiences, let us know, reach out, and we'll be happy to have you on the show, get you scheduled on. If you're a client and want to work on a project with us, there's contact information down below in the video description. We're looking forward to hearing from you and see what your ideas are and see how we can potentially be a fit to make your project happen. Until then, we'll catch you next episode.